Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, we find the Crackerjack version of lip balm, a way to create sink space, and Marcus Rocco wants to go to the moon. All that more coming up, so sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and we tell you if you should back or track or sack cool projects. I am Ktdata, and joining me is an amazing man who is right now in his moment of zen, but next week he will be going through trials and tribulations, so everybody wish him luck. The one and only Drew Tyler. How are you doing, Drew?
Wait, what's next week? What do I not know about? You mean when I go through?
Yeah, when you go through all the stuff, I'm like, I'm out of that. I'm out of the academic scene, so I don't.
Yes, this is the week that I sit back and just laugh maniacally as the students struggle to get things done, and then next week I dive into this big pile of crap that they hand in and kind of sort my way through it and hand out letters that mean something. Hey, nice job. Here's a B. Take it home. Put it on your mantle. Yeah, that's what I do. So I'm excited. I like this time of year a lot. I love to have things kind of wrapped up, and plus the I don't know, professors, we have a pretty good deal. Like we get a full 12-month paycheck, but we only really teach 9 months out of the year, and in between the two semesters there's like an extra month, so really it's like 8 months of work. It's true. It doesn't pay great, but it's a nice breather all the time.
You're probably the first teacher I've ever heard say that.
That I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love to be able to say, like, and I think it's probably because of my ADD. I can do something for like 14 weeks at a time, and just at the time I'm like, man, this is getting to be a little drag. And then I'll be like, oh, one more week, and I can switch it up for a couple of weeks. Yeah,
but
it's all good.
Yeah, I think this podcast is proof to your students that professors do leave their offices and do other things.
Out and do other things. It's true. I do other things.
Yeah, it's amazing, but people don't believe you.
It's true.
Because like, have you ever had that moment where you're like at a local grocery store or something, and you're just shopping for whatever you need to pick up for dinner, and you just run into a student and you just like stare at each other, just like,
wait. You the other day I was at City Creek of all places, and I'm going down the escalator with 3 of my kids, and another professor was going up, and I was like, whoa. We both exist outside of the university.
That's gotta be. I didn't even think about that. That must be like even more awkward.
Yeah, that was really, really weird. I was like, "This is wow. Happy holidays." Okay. So, hey, welcome to the show. I'm excited to be here.
So yeah, welcome to everybody who's watching the show. All you guys in the chat room, I love you all. I really do. I really do. And all
are
you guys,
they alive? Because I haven't seen them chat yet. Hey, say something. Somebody say something. Damn it. So yeah, it's good to see him.
Yeah, and all you guys who listen after the fact, I love all of you too. If I could go give a hug to every single one of you, I would. But it's cost prohibitive. I apologize.
The time will come. I think when we launch a Patreon or something, then one of the tiers could be a personal hug.
Me flying out to your location and just
I will personally hug you.
You know, if you don't think that is creepy, I'll do it.
It's well worth the effort. It's well worth it.
And for all you new people, welcome to the show. And like I said at the top of the show, we go out, find cool projects, bring them back, and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. It's all exciting. So, Drew, it's been a while since we have actually had a normal episode. We've always had some kind of interview or guest on the show. So this is we're going back to KickCast Classic. On there, you know?
Welcome to the KickCast
Classic. And then, of course, we have news. Love it. And it being around the holidays, there are really not that much news. But I did find some things. So Drew, I know you host a little big cast. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Pilar Molyneux is?
It sounds like it's spelled really funky, right? Yeah, yep. I do indeed.
He actually is he made one of my favorite game series, the Fable series.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I know him, right? He's also done Populous Dungeon Keeper, like way back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's well known for making good games. His last game that he made was called Goddess, and he actually crowdfunded it. Yeah, funded it on there, and he did an interview with Tech Radar about it. And one of the things he said that is Kickstarter can be a destructive force that actually damaged his game Goddess.
Oh, really?
And one of the quotes that came out of this article was, if I had my time again, I wouldn't do Kickstarter at the start of development. I wanted to make sure people heard the part where he said start of the development. And then the article goes on to talk about how when you first start, you're it's just a conceptual game. You haven't really got much of the development and stuff. You have that urge to overpromise what you're delivering. And one of the things I like to remind people is in the Kickstarter school that you can go through, they always say under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, which is good business practice across the board.
Yeah, I mean, because things happened where he had during his project that he had to introduce a lot of unpopular features. Like I think there was a pay to win feature that you could actually do in the game and stuff, and people did not like that at all.
No, we talked about it with LBK. That's just pay to win is like not. It's anti everything. It's just wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, but he makes a good point, and I brought up this article not for it to be negative, but to tell people because we see a lot of projects, like a lot of projects, and one of the things that I see common is they're not well planned out projects, or they're just they're telling you something that is way over ambitious, and you're like, are they really going to get that? I mean, you and I were talking about one right before the show.
Yeah, the one it's called Bling on Indiegogo, and they claim to have this egg machine. Well, I don't know what stage it's in right now, but it does sound like a fantastical, what the hell kind of idea. They want to make this like what do they call it? Hologram maker for your house, so that you can be a part of this hologram system and put it in your house, and you could have like a virtual DJ, you could have a virtual boxing match. Anyway, yes,
I would have Snoop Dogg show up, or
yeah. So I was looking at it, I was like, "This is you. There's no way. No, you're not going to get this done." So that's just me.
Yeah. So it's just a reminder to all you project creators out there: plan. If you're listening to this show, this is actually probably a good start because we do mention a lot of these things, and I hope it's helpful to you. And doing lots and lots of research out there, and there are tons of resources out there that actually will help start your own Kickstarter project and plan it really well. It's not. I tell people this because people just assume. I actually found a project that essentially this 18-year-old girl put up because she wanted to meet her boyfriend that she's never met in real life.
Oh, I saw that.
Very, I was like, wow, talk about not planning at all. I mean, she had one tier, and then that was to donate the full amount, and it was limited to one. So that was the only tier you could donate to, and that was exclusive to being only one of one on there. That took the crowd out of crowdfunding on there. So that's one thing to think about as Drew just totally almost dies on us.
Wow. My diffuser happens to be a piece of paper.
Yeah. All right. So on to our second piece of news right there is
Double News Week.
On TechCrunch. They discovered this really interesting thing on one of the projects. The project is called the Olive, and it's a stress management wearable. So sort of like a Pebble for stress management on there. But they noticed on there, or somebody actually tipped them off, that there is actually a option on there for you to pay $15 on top of what you're normally going to back for a perk, and it is insurance. So if the Olive doesn't deliver within 3 months of their estimated delivery date, you get your money back.
This seems strange.
So
you buy insurance,
but it's not the Olive people who are going to be paying you back. It's Indiegogo on there. So that's
in. Oh my.
Yeah. So it's kind of big right now. This is the only project that I know is testing out because it's a beta thing. When TechCrunch reached out to them, they pretty much said Indiegogo regularly develops and tests new features to meet the needs of both funders and campaign owners. This pilot test is currently limited to this individual campaign. So they're trying it out, but think about it: crowdfunding insurance, because that is one of the biggest things that you hear about these projects is like, how do I know I'm going to get this?
Right.
Or,
right. And throwing $15 extra is like you'll get your money back. Do you get the $15? No, that's
I don't think you get the $15.
You get the $129 back or whatever.
On there. So I don't know. How do you feel about this, Drew? I think it's big.
It is if it picks up, and I'm just wondering where Indiegogo. where they think they have the ability to do this, I guess, and obviously they know their numbers and they know how this might work. And I'm glad that they're trying it out in this manner, where it's like, hey, let's try it on this one project that we think will go good, and then we may see it spreading. So I'm glad they're starting it kind of small to test the waters with it. As a concept, it certainly has a little bit of a head scratcher. It almost feels like they're not pandering, but kind of playing to the newer crowd to crowdfunding. Those of us that have known about it for a long time, we realize that we're supporting a project and we're hoping that it happens. And it's nice to be promised a reward tier. But as we know, sometimes that doesn't happen, and we just have to say, well, that was my chance to play angel investor at this level, and it didn't work out. So I guess at some point, maybe they're trying to kind of help out folks that do need that peace of mind. I'm trying to figure out what they get out of it. What would Indiegogo get?
Well, they're getting more people to donate to projects, so the more
because
likely they fund, the more likely they're going to get their 5%.
Maybe, okay, so it's a long roundabout. Okay,
and I'm pretty sure they're betting on the insurance policy, where more people are going to buy the insurance policy than they're going to have to pay out.
And so then they okay. I don't know. I guess I'm still on the fence. I don't know that I hope to see it across the board, because it's really, I don't get extra insurance when I rent a car. I'm not an insurance guy. I'm a gambler. That's what I am.
You like to live on the wild side.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, guys. But so, I mean, I like the idea. If anything, it's showing that Indiegogo is trying to have some responsibility on it, which is the exact opposite of Kickstarter.
So it's done things to just say we're not.
They're laissez-faire, essentially. We're like,
right.
That's all on you guys. On there. So, like, I mean, that's going to help differentiate them, because that's the problem. Is there's a lot of crowdfunding networks out there, platforms out there, and it's hard to kind of tell the difference between all of them on there. Yeah. This could maybe one way where they might be drawing some people from Kickstarter over. So
it's true. It's true.
On that. All right. So our last bit of news of the night is this article that I found on digitaltrends.com, and they were talking about how Kickstarter is great for. The title is Kickstarter is great for coolers and terrible for feature films. So I'm like, okay, I'm a little curious about this, considering that I think films are one of the more popular categories on Kickstarter.
Yes, and it's a good thing, because honestly, films, documentaries, you usually have people that are behind it, that love the idea, that want to see it happen. And this is a nice way to kind of collect them all in one place monetarily and say, great, thanks for your support. I'm going to go make it now. So I'm interested in this article.
So this article goes in and talks about how Kickstarter works for devices and things, but for movies such as Veronica Mars and I Wish I Was Here, which is Zach Braff's movie, on there, saying that it is actually a little harder for them to fund because you have to target to a specific group of people. For Veronica Mars fans, of course, and Zach Braff fans, to focus on those, or you have to be able to do that. And they say that's one of the problems with it. And the other problem with it is that a lot of these projects, they don't think about distribution, right? Which is a separate step, which both of these movies that I just mentioned, they didn't offer movie tickets on any of the tiers. Veronica Mars managed to offer a download because the distribution was handled by a different company and they already had signed the deal.
Right. It was a done deal. Right.
On there. And they also mentioned that the movie projects that tend to do well is documentaries and short films that don't rely on being in the theater to make money on there. On there. But they say for like big budget movies and things like that, it's not a good place to go. And to me, I think the article brings up what I think is the power of crowdfunding, is finding those niche markets, those markets where your hardcore fans are willing to shell out money for, to make your film, instead of trying to do the mass market approach. I don't know, Drew. You teach this in your class about traditional news versus kind of this new emerging blogosphere type, where it's kind of more targeted. How do you feel about this?
How do I feel about this? Let me enlighten you. I need to get this thing taped up. It's a beautiful look if it'll stay up. So here's what I feel. I think that overall you're right. Documentaries work well because what you've got is a place to find like people, get them behind a project, and move them forward and have have a place, kind of a repository to put their donations, their monies. Bigger films where, especially like the Veronica Mars and otherwise, that have the, I don't know, kind of the pop culture behind them and people are jumping on because it's a neat way. For me, the bonus is that you kind of can circumvent the Hollywood machine, right? You can get something done and say, here, the people like this. Let's make it happen. So I don't know. I have no problem with that, and I don't mind. The article does go a little bit into like you have to go $30 before you even get to see the movie on top of everything. So that's way more than a normal movie ticket. But for me, it's the behind the scenes that I think I would be pledging for. I love to keep track of things on a blog or a secret PDF that kind of comes out as installment. I love the behind the scenes, and so I would pay that much to say, yeah, let me watch you create this. Let me be with you on set, and then when you have that online screening, I don't care that it's not like in my city and I get to go sit in the seats to watch it in the theater. I was there for the creation of the project in the background, and now, sure, I'll show up online and do my the special screening that I backed. So for me, I don't know. It's not an issue for me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care that I don't get a real movie ticket. What the hell? I want to help you get it made, and I'll get to see it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, even the line that you said, to me, as I see that, I'm thinking that is actually a well-designed crowdfunding project. Because this is the problem where people are thinking crowdfunding as a store, is because they're thinking, how much is it going to be cost
right.
versus wise? I mean, if they charge these tiers at cost and let you watch the movie, there would be no money to make the movie.
Right.
On there. I mean, this is why I tell people, if you're going to do a t-shirt, it better be at a minimum $50. It does not cost $50 to make a t-shirt. I can guarantee you that. But
if you do it at 20, if you do it at 15,
yeah, you just ate up all your profits. You made $5 off that t-shirt. Is that $5 really going to take you to the point where you can actually make a movie or something?
Finish the movie. Yeah, exactly. So this is probably a good time to tell you that I've been working with a couple of guys to start. We're just in the beginning stages of starting our own Kickstarter to launch to do a documentary about the most exciting thing you've ever seen. So I'll pre-announce it here. Even more exciting than that. I'll pre-announce it here, and then we can update it every show. We can kind of give you the feedback.
Ooh, we're gonna get like the inside view.
Yeah,
like
this the
inside view of Drew Tyler.
Yes. Oh. So, me and a couple of guys are planning on doing a documentary on, get this, livestock auctions. I know, it's gonna be fantastic.
Wow!
So we had a great meeting today. We've met a couple of times with an executive producer who's gonna kind of help us get into the community. But here's the kind of the hook of the whole thing, and I'll tell you more as we go along in the years in the months to come. But basically, a very small county, very small town up northern Utah that has the most participation in a youth livestock auction, and in this very small town with like maybe 10,000 people in the area, maybe 12,000 people, they raised nearly $1 million at their county fair for those youth livestock. So it's right.
That's with an M, right?
It's $1 million, yeah, over $1 million. Isn't that crazy? So the way it works, you pick up a lamb sometime in the spring, and then as the kids, in the 4-H, they go and they spend all summer feeding the lamb and fattening it up and getting it ready to show, and then they take it to the auction, and the different people around the community bid on it, and they'll buy the lamb for whatever they want, feeding or studding or whatever they do, for a couple hundred. But for some reason, this particular community has this fantastic, just long, rich history of giving back and of making this like ginormous gift, I guess, almost like encouraging the youth not only to like maintain their agricultural roots, but also gives them money for college and all this other stuff. So anyway, we're going to explore that story and hope that it turns out really nicely. So I will let you know on our Kickstarter side of things how we get going.
Are we going to have your beautiful voice as the overdub?
Yeah, it'll be like this. You'll see kids like running out into the cold with their boots on, like watering the lambs, and you'll hear my voice. Johnny never thought that he'd be up at 3 a.m. watering the lambs. This is a hard moment for him. Let's watch as he breaks down and cries.
I'm pretty sure people would pay for that, or you can do it Ken Burns style, where you get all the different voice actors to come in
and just talk about it. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a great story. We talked to the kind of the lead auctioneer guy for the 4-H, like the guy that's kind of over this thing that's happened for the last 20 years, and he's excited as well. The reason why we think it's a great for Kickstarter is because obviously if this community is putting in that much money to get these, to get this to get the kids that are doing the livestock auction to succeed, we think that they'd love to hear that story told in a more permanent voice. And so we think that we have kind of a target audience already for sponsorship and otherwise to kind of keep, basically we talk about it, rev the engine and get the Kickstarter running. And we think that we can use the community to kind of get up to a manageable level of pledges as we push forward out, into a wider network. Not your typical demographic for Kickstarter, the agricultural scene, but we're going to try it. So I'll keep you posted.
Yeah. And, that way you can come back and answer these questions. Like, how'd you design your tiers? Are you going to actually have a physical screening, or how are you going to figure all that stuff out? I'm excited now. All right, Drew. So,
hey, we have projects.
Yeah. Let's jump into those projects. Okay. So this is kind of a problem. Winter is coming here in Utah, and we of course live in a desert. And one of the biggest things in Utah is, keeping your lips from chapping and drying out and cracking and making pain. It's painful.
Yes.
On there. So, the easiest way is usually keeping lip balm or a chapstick somewhere in your pocket, right? How many times?
Keeping it away from your 3-year-old.
Yeah. How many times do you ever use a stick of chapstick before you lose it, or you can't find it again?
I should go and get it, but I have from the It's Sugar store. I have it looks like a Tootsie Roll, but it's about 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall, and it's stuffed full of chapstick because whenever I need one, I just pull one out and it disappears. So I have like all these flavors. I'll just reach in and grab one, and because I know I'm going to lose it.
All right. Would you be less inclined to lose your chapstick if it had a prize at the bottom?
Ooh. A prize?
Yeah.
Like a Crackerjack style?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. So like when you...
I might... Yes.
So
I might like keep that around, like put it on the desk and make that dedicated chap spot.
Yeah. So our first project is called Chap Prezi, if I remember right, on there.
It's not Chap Prize. Chap Prezi is pretty funny.
Chap Prezi, if
Chap Prezi
on here. And one of the things I didn't even notice until after I picked this project is it's in Provo, Utah.
Oh, really?
So filmmaker might have gone to school with you, Drew. Who knows?
It's awesome.
It is actually a funny video, and that's what actually convinced me that to actually go with this on there. And essentially, that's what it is. It's a chapstick, and at the bottom, there's a prize on there. There's 2 versions of it. So there's the premium version, and then there's the regular version. The premium version has the regular version has a prize that is worth at least $1. The premium one is a bigger chapstick, and it has prizes that are $1 and above on there. So like, yeah, I mean, I like the video on her. The idea is a little bit on me, just because I know I'd still lose a chapstick, and that would anger me even more because I know I would have lost at least $1. There, the video is great because he shows you like right at the end, he pulls out and there's like $1 at the bottom.
Oh, he actually stuffed $1 into the box.
So like, yeah, all of them will have some kind of prize, like iTunes gift cards or iTunes downloads and things like that.
This is amazing.
So
I think that would incentivize me to not lose, or at least not let maybe I would give it to 3-year-old because she like eats the whole chapstick still, like sticks her finger in there. So maybe she'd get to the prize first for me. And I'd like, bring it back when you're done.
He addresses that too at the end. He says you're it's like, well, you'd have to waste the whole stick of chapstick, you selfish, ungrateful ingrate, if you just wanted the prize on there. The only thing is, I'm not sure about their math. If you look at their screen on here, you see that there's a $5. The regular one is $5.
Standard
right there. Oh, actually, now that makes sense now. And then $7 for the premium on there. But if you're an early backer and there's 200 of these left, if you want to get the premium, you can get it for $5 right now. So that means you'd at least.
Which level is that? I see it. I see it now.
It's right there. So,
got it.
I mean, if you're in the market for that, that's great. Apparently, I can't read.
But that makes sense that they're trying to get the traction going by saying, hey, jump on real quick, we'll give you the $7 version for $5 right away. But they've only got 11 backers, I believe, at this point.
But they're fresh. They just barely launched. Like
it's like midnight, right?
Day.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
on there. But what I wish was they at least, had some kind of like a, you've seen those chapstick holders and things, or include something in one of their tiers as that. Because if you just give me a normal chapstick, I still lose it.
Right,
I'm not gonna lie, I still lose it. There's probably at least 5 of them around my house somewhere that I've just like lost or dropped or in the couch. But I might be a little bit more on.
Put a little last on,
yeah,
something. And they're chap keepers out there. Like I love the keychain. For the longest time, my wife had one of the keychain ones. You hook it on your keychain, and it has this little neoprene like sleeve to slide the chap in. It's always there. I always knew where it was.
Yeah,
this is great. I love it's a Utah project. I think it's a wonderful, innovative idea, and that's something that is fun to see on these. I mean, the whole reason why I love the Kickstarter and the crowdfunded scene is because you get these ideas where people are like, "What if?" and you just see if it flies. 15,000 seems pretty hefty, but I think the way they're going about, and I have to watch the video, but to stuff prizes in the bottom of a barrel, I think probably does take a little bit of doing. Is it custom chap, or are they just using like some?
They didn't say, but they said it's the most amazing lip balm you ever use.
Oh, I wonder if they're partnering with somebody interesting
on there. And I mean, it's great because you see on their page, sometimes like there's like you still can help even if you don't use lip balm. Some people just don't use lip balm, but you can still contribute. Donate to the cause even if you don't use lip balm because this product is awesome. Share with your personal networks to bring back sanity to humanity when it comes to lip balms. I mean, I love this little, this kind of zing they have on it because, I mean, last week the shit in my teeth got me excited about toothpicks.
Yes. They're doing very well.
Yeah, this has me excited about lip balm.
I'm backing as we speak right now. Yeah. So for me, it's a back. I'm going in right now and getting my premium. I'm gonna have myself a prize pack, and I'm gonna.
You should do a KickCast rewind when you're done and tell us what the prize is.
I will. I will let you know exactly what comes. This one's in for me.
Yeah, for me, it's a track just because I just need a little bit more for my anti-losing ability because I'd lose it.
You want to see that?
I would lose it, and then I would be angry at myself because I knew there was a prize at the bottom, and I'll never know what it was.
So somebody's gonna find it though. I mean, you even if you lose it, somebody's going to use it, and eventually, after like 60 people have gone through the same chap, you use lost chap, right? If I find chap on the street, it's like, oh, freebie.
I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently, I need to do that now. I've been passing up these opportunities.
Yes, these are opportunities that you. Yes.
Okay, all right, Drew. So, I guess we're kind of on this beauty streak right now.
Yep, chapstick and face sticks.
Well, yeah, I don't know about you, but sink space has always been a valuable thing, right?
It takes up valuable real estate.
Especially with you, with all these girls, and they're not old enough yet to...
Oh, but every one of them wants makeup for Christmas. Every one of them, 7, 5, 3-year-old. I just want makeup, Dad. No, not in my house. No makeup.
No makeup, no boys.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it is sink space is a premium. So the next project that we're going to talk about actually kind of speaks to me in a way not because I have all these girls, but I'm sure that's eventually to come up. But this project, I thought of my wife first and foremost as I looked at this one. This is called the palette. Much like the palette that you use when you paint a picture, but it's the palette, P-A-L-I-T. It's a portable beauty workspace. It nests over your pedestal sink, kind of creates space in your daily beauty ritual. And so you can see there that it's just this wonderfully like crafted bamboo that slides right over your sink, butts up against the hardware part so that you can cover the cavity of the sink. I have a smaller house. I've been in even smaller houses, but much like that picture there that you're looking at, that's what my bathroom looks like. It's very small. I have a little bit of counter space on the sides, but that is where everything that there's a water flosser there, and the flat iron is always there. Brushes are always there, and about 3 or 4, maybe 5 different bottles of spray things are always on the side of the sink. So the palette solves that problem because you get to use the sink space. You put this thing, slide it over the top of your sink, and now you can place all of your makeup things. Now, me, I'm a guy. When I get up in the morning and I get ready for school or wherever else, we get up in the afternoon if I'm getting ready for anything else.
In the afternoon?
Today I showed at 12:30 and I was like, this is nice.
Such a troubled life, Drew.
But I just, I brush my teeth and shave and I'm done. My wife gets ready in the morning, and so she has the the arsenal that's hitting under the sink, and there's a little like stand above her bathroom that she has a bunch of stuff just all over the place. But it all ends up on those tiny little edges of the sink, and it crowds, and she's constantly knocking things off with one cord or another. In fact, I think just this morning she was doing the girl's hair, and she moved something over and knocked over 3 bottles. So as I looked at this project, I was like, this makes a lot of sense. You can cover up that sink hole space because you're not usually using the water intensely at that time, and you can still access it, easy enough by pulling back and getting some water. But you have space to put all of your makeup. They have little holes in there that you can kind of, stand up your makeup things that you need, or brushes or not. So it's beautiful. It's very well designed. It's very good looking. They even have this kind of silicone well on the side that holds your hot things. Lots and lots of good in this project. Lots and lots of good. I will give you that. You want to pipe in before I go through my sadness, like the things that I don't love about it?
Yeah. So do you want to know a secret about how spoiled I am, being an only child in my family?
You already have one of these before they even made it?
No. So apparently my bathroom that I use for myself, I have like an extended sink. Like you could actually put 2 sinks into it, but there's only 1 sink. So I have all this extra space.
Have double space.
But so I never experienced this lack until I actually went to other people's houses. Like my uncle has a sink like this too, and I'm like, how do you keep anything on here? It's like ridiculous. So I actually like this idea on there. For me, it wouldn't be that much of a use, but I do like how they approach it. And it to me, one thing is keeps the electronics out of the sink.
Yeah,
your sink's not always dry, and getting shocked is not a fun thing. I'll just say that right now.
Word to the wise.
Getting shocked is not a fun thing. So I actually like this idea on there. But like I didn't look at. I mean, it looks really nice too.
It's bamboo. It's sustainable. Like it's really fresh. It's made in America. I mean, it's almost overly nice for what it's doing. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. And I like how they planned for the future too, where they're trying to get a plastic version of it too, also for people who like plastic.
And they mentioned this, and I'm still trying to figure out why. Okay, so there's a couple of questions that I have, obviously, and I'm sure they have answers. Bamboo makes it lightweight, makes it antimicrobial. It has a lot of that you can hang it on your door when you're done with it, so you can get to your sink when you need it. All of the silicone there's a lot of things to it, but I've got a couple of questions when I get to this, and part of it is like you mentioned that the plastic version is something I'm like, ooh, why don't we come out with that first? That should be a lower tier, because if you look at the tiers, you have to pledge $175 to get the pallet. That is an extreme. I mean, it's just not the world I'm living in. $175 for something that I can make out of cardboard.
Well, I think bamboo is a little bit easier to make this, because when you're doing plastic, you got to make your own injection mold,
and that makes sense.
Those aren't cheap, and then you also have a minimum because you've made your own injection mold.
That's true. But here, the bamboo at $175, I'm hoping that they're like hiring some like imported Tibetan monk or somebody.
They're made in the US of A.
Yeah, but this has got to be like handcrafted. I don't know. It's just crazy expensive.
I actually think they are. Looking at it right now.
Maybe that's why they don't really plan on selling that many. Although their pledge level, they're looking for $15,000 to get this done. So there's a couple of flags for me, and it's a new project. But you and I talk about having traction, getting things going. But for a new project to only have 2 backers at this point, $90, it's like, if that's all you're going to pull in on the first day, then I wonder what kind of pre-run up they had. And that combined with this graphic that they have here, where they list almost a dozen or more shops online that it's been featured on. Did you see that? I mean, that's it's a head scratcher.
So my guess is that these are handmade. I mean, that's why Etsy is on here.
Yeah.
So these are probably handmade on there. And I think this project just launched today on there for one thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
Benefit of the doubt. That's true. But I still feel like at this point, had they done a lot of prep work, and they really got these things on all those sites that they're listing, there should have been a little bit more of a run up, right? A traction that just says, okay, everybody, it's going live on the 9th. I want everybody to just jump on and, back where you can. So there's a disconnect here. So I'm a little concerned. I'll track this and I'll watch it go, because I want to see when and if that oomph comes from all these places that they claim to be. So for me, this is a track. I love the idea. I think it's really simple. I think it could have been done on a lower scale for just economically, but they may just be trying to hit a top tier that I'm not living in, apparently.
I don't know. Yeah, for me it's a track, partially because I don't need that much counter space.
You have plenty.
They're
not sharing.
And even if I didn't have that counter space, let's be honest, it's like my razor is pretty much all I need on there, and a toothbrush on there. So, and I don't have a lady friend who suffers from this right now. But if you do have a lady friend that may suffer from lack of space counterness on there, that's a word, right? There, I mean it's a good idea. So I'm putting on track. If they get close, I might help them push it over because it's pretty.
I would hope that I'd almost say I'm tracking until and if they get to a stretch goal where there's some sort of offer of that plastic one, like a promise of yes, we'll be doing the plastic because we got this far. Until then, I'm making a cardboard version. Thank you very much for the idea. I'm not. Maybe the more money you make, the smaller your bathroom gets, and that's why they're aiming for that. I don't know.
So that's why you have a small bathroom? Okay.
Yes, because I'm
okay. All right.
I don't know the answer.
I know teachers are rolling in the dough.
Yes.
All right. So our last project of the night, Drew, is actually sent in by the project creator. So remember, you guys can always send in your projects.
Yes,
we'll give you all the contact information right after this. So Marcus Rocco, Marcus, if I said your last name wrong, I apologize now. I barely can say my name right.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
And what Marcus wants to do is go to the moon.
Bam.
Yeah. Okay. He doesn't really want to go to the moon, but that's the name of his children's book that he's putting together. So it's a 52-page children's book, which is actually pretty long.
That's hefty for
think about
kids.
it.
Yeah. My kid said, "Let's read this tonight." I'd be like, "You get 25 pages, and then it's bedtime."
Yeah. So he's actually making it black and white, short novel style, and he's writing, illustrating, editing, pretty much doing all of this book stuff together.
One man band.
Yeah,
nice.
And the story is I connect to this story. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a story about Jackie, an over anxious, crazy imaginative second grader. My mind is still in the second grade.
Yeah.
So that is super ambitious with plans to go to the moon. On there, and that's what the story is about. And I mean, it's like my life story, dude. I honestly think this is like a bibliography for me. You just have to replace the moon for running his own podcast network, and it's pretty much the same.
This is the dream I have, and I'm going to do it crazy or not.
Yeah, and I love the whole idea of it. And what was nice though is he sent it in, so I asked him some questions. I asked him some hard hitting questions on that.
Right, because we like to see the back end of this. We like to see what people are thinking, how far they got. We also like to know where they found us. So yeah, I'd love to hear his answers.
So one of the things I asked him is, where did you come up with this idea? I mean, because this is an idea everybody has, but he actually put it together onto paper and formed it together.
Every time I read a kid's book to my kids, I go, "What the hell? I could have done this."
Yeah, and so
not the drawing part, but yeah.
Yeah. So this is what he says: is he was looking through other children's books to purchase for his own reading, because he likes seeing what other people do because he's a cartoonist for trade, and so he's looking through and he's like, well, these stories are good. All of them teach some kind of lesson and stuff, but where are the ones that are just for fun? Help your kids' imagination just go. Because
we've enough of the morals. Give me some creativity.
Just something where you can just let your mind wander a little bit. Because I mean, I know there's an importance of making sure your kids know how to read and everything, but sometimes they just got to be kids and have a little bit of fun, right?
No, I totally agree. Agree
on that. And so he's like, going to the moon. That just sounds like every kid's dream right there. You look outside every night, you see it there, and who wouldn't want to say, I want to go visit there?
Yeah.
And so what happened was he actually started putting these together for over a year. And then what happened? He lost the sketchbook with all his information in it.
Oh, really?
Like I was like, oh, whoa.
Oh, really?
On that. And then, but then he remembered something. That or somebody that or he said he either made this up or somebody had told him previously that if you close your story and don't look at it for a couple of days and you just take the parts that you remember and cut everything else out, it will help you make a more memorable book on there.
So if you've written something,
yeah, so if you've written something, created it, don't look at it for a couple of days and then try to rewrite it again with just what you stuff you remembered, and it will make a more memorable book on there.
That's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, so basically that's what he did since he had on a sketchbook was he only took the parts he remembered on it. And so that that was kind of interesting. And what's even more interesting now is the tiers he planned, since this is seriously a one-man shop. He was lucky to find a distributor or a publisher that had really low minimums on here. So that's why his goal is only $550 on there.
That's wow. Yeah. I'd like to know where he found this.
Yeah, so he's actually planning to make sure he has extra reward and stuff, just in case. And then he based all his shipping costs on flat rates, so he wouldn't run into any issues.
Surprising issues.
That is a smart thing. If you guys are planning a project and you don't have it, go the flat rate route. It may sound like it's a little bit more expensive, but it may save your save you in the end.
Well, remember, I don't know, did it ever get up, the interview we did with Frank Bador?
No, I need to put that up. I'll get that
so
up.
The one from Comic-Con from like months ago, the one that we said, hey, Frank, this will be up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But remember, he talked about that because he promised to write a whole book as one of the pledge levels on top of delivering the graphic novel that he was doing. And he told us, he said that part of the thing that's going to screw him is because he missed his mark. He was going to have to pay double shipping on everything. And so when I got my book yesterday.
Oh, you got yours already? I'm still waiting for mine.
I got the graphic novel part because I'm not sure if he's quite finished with the actual novel. But yeah, it was. I'm trying to think. It was like $4.50 or something to ship that. So like, yes, flat rate would probably work out better for most people.
So I mean,
I second it.
Yeah, and so so that was some. I love this behind the scene information, and also any of you guys who discover us through the podcast app. Good on you, and thanks for finding us through that.
Yes.
On there. So I don't know, Drew. Did you get a chance to look at kind of the story, and what do you think about it? I liked it.
I think it's fun. And I've had one similar that was a Weird Al Yankovic story that kind of sounds like this, where basically he talks about what he wants to be when he grows up, but it is one of those just be creative. Go ahead and just think about fun things. And so what I loved in his video here, Marcus, he just basically says, "Here's I'm on my band. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And let me read a little bit of the book to you." And then for like a minute, he reads part of the book, and you see some of the animatic, or he's kind of just doing a pan and scan on the sketches. I think it's fantastic. I'm really blown away that he's only looking at that 550 goal. But at the same time, if you think about it, here's a personal life goal of his that he wants to get this done. He sets that bar low enough that it gets covered and done. And then he kind of moves forward from there, because once he has that published and has that chain en route, he can kind of continue to maybe even publish on demand and send them out as they go. Mm-hmm. And along with that, he's also doing everything right, because he's in the middle of a campaign, still reaching out to people, sending things to us, to other people, and saying, "Hey, I just want you to know I'm doing this," because that's what you got to do. You continue to hunt for the backers. So for me, this is a back for me.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of the reason he put it so low though is because on one of the questions I asked him, and he's like, he's always been interested in crowdfunding because he gets the sense that you're being part of the project on there. So that's why I think why he put it a little lower too, is because he wants everybody to feel that they can be included on this. And like, I'm gonna back this project. He's so close to $471 right now, out of 550.
Yes, so and that's what we talk about, pushing him over the edge. So I'll be backing this one for sure.
This one's a back. I mean, I love the art style. This is the art style you expect to see in a kid's book. I mean,
it's fun.
I'm sure it's kind of like this more sketchy kind of feel to it on there, but you the way he draws his characters and stuff, you can feel you feel the emotion by looking at it, which is it's really hard to describe, but you can see how energized this kid is and
It's
how he wants
kinetic, right? It just kind of feels like wow.
I mean,
and I love it, and I can't believe that again, for a hardback or for a book, I'm not positive it's hardback, but just for a physical copy of the book, $15 is a pretty low amount for any book. So yes, I would like to know where he's found this publisher, because he's kind of this is low. This is low. 15, so I'm going to back this and read it to my kids in 2-night versions, right? But I think this one will be kind of fun because they'll want to read it themselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna back it and read it to myself.
You can read it to my kids if you want.
One night, yeah, I'll be like, Drew, put up the iPad while I'm Skype, and I'm like, all right, kids, turn the page.
Skype it in tonight, and then I'll get to work earlier so that you can. Uncle KT's gonna read you to bed. I have one that will not go to bed unless she has a story. Period. Like it could be midnight and we're just getting home from somewhere. Has to have a story or she will not go to bed.
Good thing she has parents who are great at telling stories.
I love it. In fact, I'd always say, all right, tonight I'm just going to tell you a story from my mouth. And so they'd always ask for that when they were younger. Daddy, tell us a story from your mouth. So I just make crap up. I wrote some good stories. I should have Marcus illustrate them for me because I wrote some good stories,
on there
in my mouth.
That's great. And that, Drew, where does time go? That is another episode of the KickCast. That was our last project of the night.
That was a hefty episode, though. We did all right.
Yeah, and like I said, if you run your own project or you have a cool project and you want to let us know about it, there's a high chance we'll feature it on the show. Just send us an email, kickcast@ktdata.net on there, or send us a message on Facebook, facebook.com/kickcast, or on Twitter @kickcast for the show, or @night20 for Drew, or @ktdata for me. Either way, we'll get it on there, or on Google Plus at plus.kickcast.net.
Do it. Talk to us.
I mean, there's multiple ways you can get in contact with us. We're friendly.
We are nice. We do talk back. I'll throw out a couple of plugs as we wrap up here. 2 projects that are ending pretty quickly. One is Vanishing Ink. We had Scott Weiser on. He's got like less than a day left. So if you're listening to this live, or if you grab it soon, grab a copy of Vanishing Ink. And the other is
I backed it.
You did? Yeah, see? Good. Everybody else do the same. And the other is Carly McKinnon. Hers is ending
that one too.
A couple of days. And she's really close.
She's so close.
She seemed like she stagnated there at about halfway point and wasn't going to get there. But looking at it again today, as I've been following it, she's within $1,000 of finishing this album and getting it done. So, yeah, those are 2 that I'd say totally check into and grab in the next couple of days.
I mean, go help Carly. She performed
she was a great
live to us.
Yeah, she was a great
awesome.
Interview. Yeah.
I mean, where else are you going to get that? So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited, and I really want to get an album from her.
Yeah, and a personal song.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a personal song and then have her write it about you.
That would be so great. That'd be so great. I'm all on board.
Who wouldn't want to see that? So yeah, and of course, even if you do send your projects in, all of you guys know we record every 2 weeks on there. So our next episode is going to be December. Is that Christmas?
About
that. Drew may not be here.
I may not be here. I might be able to pull it off. I'll be in Anaheim.
Yeah, our next episode
21st, right?
Is 23rd.
23rd. Yes. So. I'll be in Anaheim as a surprise for the kids. Shh. It's costing me an arm and a leg to give these damn kids a great experience.
What
it's magical.
What a parent. On that. So yeah, December 23rd.
You let me know. Maybe we can work something out. I'll just FaceTime in for a segment or something.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll try that, and maybe I'll try to steal a host from the Little Big Cast or something.
You could. That would work too. I bet if you threw a little estrogen in this show, you'd probably have double the views.
Get Robin or Rachel in here.
Yeah, it's a good call. Yeah.
Or maybe I can convince Cousin Jane. I'll try to get. I'll try to get somebody in here.
She comes with an audience, so that's good. That's solid.
So, you guys will find out who's going to be on this next episode. If it's going to be Drew or me wearing a Drew mask.
I don't know.
And you won't know. So make sure you guys come. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. You can always watch it live.kickcast.net. Even if it's not a day we're recording, come by on Tuesday. There's something recording usually on that day on there, and you'll have fun. And I'll give you a virtual hug there. Drew, thank you for, I mean, I know it's almost crunch time for you, so I always appreciate it, man.
Yeah, but I'm still playing video games every night.
And you're not playing Destiny?
No, I'm totally shirking all of my duties.
Sorry. You gotta play Destiny.
I know. I do.
All right, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Good night. Good night.